Imagine being born into the world as a supreme deity and one day you wake up and say, hey, I'm bored. What if I just started over? I can't say for sure if that's what Rover's goal is in Wuthering Waves, but they have definitely made themselves known as an enigmatic entity, or a void being. Hey, that's me, isn't it? I knew they got that idea from somewhere. Being a self-insert in your own story is nothing new to Gacha games. While Wuthering Waves didn't start off perfectly, it began to shape itself into a worthy saga. The mystery that keeps us going is, who exactly is Rover? Why does Rover lack all memories of their past self? And the real question is, where do they inherit their Riz? Rover's charm is without a doubt a tipping point for many players. Some don't care about how fortunate she is to have so many companions who will play along with her, while for others, this is a major concern. If every character in the game ends up fawning over that Rovacy, then the importance of Rover's relationships can become extremely diluted. A harem is the last thing that many people want for their main character, and as for the participants involved, let's just say that Camellya would without a doubt rip off Shorekeeper's wings if she knew how intimate those two might be. It goes without saying, however, that the companion quest involving Rover has to include, well, the companions. The companion and Rover, to be exact. This is the fact that has to happen. Now, in my opinion, Kuro Games has done an exceptional job of fusing the companion quest with Rover and the said companion. They've chosen to make the quest involve the companions as the main focus, exploring their growth as a character, instead of stuff like simple side missions that no one gives a crap about. Still, that doesn't mean that during these side quests, I don't feel like segs could erupt at any moment. Oh my freaking gosh, they're holding hands. I'm Void Enigma, and I'll be discussing this topic. Is the depiction of Rover simply inheriting a harem an exaggeration, or is there some truth to the matter? Are we only going to be getting shallow relationships to build up Rover as a Sigma Rizzler? But beyond the Rover glazing, let's actually add a fun concept to this video. The Lover meter. In order to better summarize my points, I'll be referencing a few companion story quests. And by a few, I mean all of them. I'll include the character at the top right when we actually begin, and you can skip forward to the next part in the timeline on the video so that you can actually skip ahead if you don't want to be spoiled. I won't talk too heavily on the actions depicted, but it is possible that I will definitely spoil a few plot points. For the entirety of the video, I'll be referring to this meter here, the Lover meter. This is when a companion quest is either borderline or completely a love interest in the story. Rather than a normal companion quest, we'll really see if Rover's harem is as big as others say it is. But before that, I have something special for you today. Have you seen these champions? Alice in Wonderland is coming to Raid Shadow Legends, and I couldn't be more excited. I was skeptical at first, but the strategy and depth in this game actually won me over. From the hundreds of unique bosses to endless gameplay options, including PvP where you actually get to control your own champion, Raid literally has it all. To help you get started, download Raid now using my link in the description or the QR code on screen to get 2 epic heroes. Tagore when you start your journey, and Ugo when you reach level 15, which you could literally do in the first day. But what's a great start without a great champion? Use the promo code MonkeyKing within 48 hours to claim the amazing legendary hero to dominate the early game. And now is the perfect time to join. You'll be able to log in for 7 days during the Alice's Adventure event and get Alice the Wanderer, a legendary champion completely free. She is a nuker who you'll be able to decimate the bosses with. This event has so many rewards for new players as well, so you don't want to miss out. I'm running this channel all on my own, from thumbnails to recording and editing, and it's thanks to sponsors like this that I'm able to keep bringing you all great content. You can support the channel simply by using my link in the description or the QR code on screen and download Raid Shadow Legends today. So go ahead and try Raid through my link or QR code to start your Raid journey today. Alright, let's get right back to the video. Let's first talk about each companion quest in order. Alright, so Rover's first companion quest involved Lingyang, Yinlin, and Jiyan. While I enjoyed all of them, Lingyang was the weakest, but still quite enjoyable. In these 3 quests back in version 1.0, the Rover Lover sequence was kinda weak. This felt more like companion quests and not certified dates, which I can enjoy. Lingyang's quest can be more of a duo going on an outing to solve an issue, a side quest for sure, but it was also an introduction to Lingyang and a friendly excursion. Jiyan's story quest helped resolve the matters of Jiyan's past and the tragedy that befell his fallen comrades. This is after the climax of the final act in version 1.0, and it built upon the trust and faith that Rover and Jiyan had in each other when they actually fought and took down the Dreamless. This is more of a co-worker's outing, and it's that one coworker or senior that you just respect with all of your heart. You have the complete admiration in this character, and you know for a fact that they also have your back. And you wouldn't mind going out to dinner with them for a friendly chat at any moment. Of course, men don't get to have any lovely vibes with Rover, so yeah, that was never going to progress anywhere. Yanlin, on the other hand, was a back-and-forth betrayal and trust between the spy that is Yanlin and Rover. While not a true betrayal, Yanlin had her flirtatious moments, but none of them really pushed her over the edge of being a love interest for Rover. Besides, of course, the final scene, but that was even somewhat minimalistic. Otherwise, she was scheming for sure, and I could seriously sense the chemistry, but I wouldn't go as far as saying that it was a love interest. No addition to the Rover meter here. It wasn't until 1.1 that we began to see a shift in storytelling, and it was definitely for the better. The quest involving Jinhsi was immaculate, and I loved it. It really displays the trust between the magistrate and Rover, as well as the sentinel Jue. This was the start of Wuwa's ascension into storytelling, but for this particular quest, Rover was in the backseat. The star of the show was Jinhsi, and this was her quest to ascend into her power. Jinhsi brought Yu home for dinner, and Jinhsi and her mother had an argument, and Yu had to mediate. That was the essence of this story quest, or main saga quest, so there was no romance or feeling in that regard. So far, our Rover meter is empty. So was the glazing just not as heavy as we thought? Well, the next, and my personal favorite, is Changli. The story quest is without a doubt one of the best displays of how to do a story quest in all of Gacha gaming. I loved everything about it. Now, the quest was mainly about Chun-Li's past and her struggle to contain her flames. Chun-Li was the first story quest where I actually felt them build a relationship with Rover that could bloom into romantic feelings, although I wouldn't count it as being such. I felt as though they had more of a friendly connection, but the display of an intimate connection via hand-holding, that changes everything. In all seriousness though, I don't feel like Chun-Li's demeanor towards Rover were romantic in any way. This simply felt like two characters solving a serious problem, and they grew to learn more about each other through the outside forces involved. Chun-Li already grew to trust Rover due to the help during Jinhsi's quest, and this is another experience that added to that trust. Rover uncovered Chun-Li's tragic past, and she felt a connection with her. The scene where they actually held hands served a plot. Not that plot, stay focused, Void. This hand-holding served as a plot of the effects of Chun-Li's dedication to mastering her forte. She is in complete control of her forte and able to actually make her flames be warm and not hurt those around her. It pushes the agenda of Chun-Li's development more so than pushing the agenda of Rover's harem. I can understand why people may see it differently, however, and still, they held hands, which is basically the equivalent of seg, so we're definitely going to have our first tally to the submission of the Rover meter. Now we headed into version 1.2, and this is another tame arc for the love quadrilateral of Rover. Well, as tame as Zhezhi can be. She does have a scene with Rover that is quite suggestive during the event. She hints at the fact that maybe, just maybe, they were on a date. Because of that small detail, unfortunately, she will have to be added to the Rover meter. Despite this short interaction, the actual story quest of Zhezhi depicted a more realistic view of their relationship. Rover helps Zhezhi overcome her anxiety and accept her role as an artist. It's not the best story quest, but I did really enjoy the climax. I'm not the only artist with, daddy issues. Xiangli Yao, on the other hand, was all about his past and involvement as a researcher. No love scenes here, just a normal companion or event quest. Sadly, I believe this is actually unplayable as of now, and I vaguely remember what happened, but I was actually trying to clear the event, so sadly I didn't pay too much attention to it. Let me know down in the comments if I actually missed something major here. Alright, version 1.3 was a highly contested topic. The release of Shorekeeper is what started the trend of Rover's harem and gathering wives. This is the first companion quest that solely focuses on the relationship between two characters, the Keeper of Beaches and Rover. Of course, there were other aspects at play, but the main focus is their relationship because unlike the other playable companion quests, Shorekeeper knew Rover before they actually tanked their own members. memories. In addition to that, she dropped the forbidden word in gacha storytelling. I love you. That sent the internet into a panic. Love? What the hell? Does this girl know her place? She can't do that, right? Right? I thought the Black Shore's quest was absolutely amazing. The visuals, the pacing, the storytelling, immaculate. Shorekeeper strove to keep Rover safe against all odds, and as a result, Rover did the exact same thing. With a happy ending and Black Shores being saved, this conclusion was incredible. To this day, you can still visit Shorekeeper whenever you want and play with her on the piano. A very solid touch and ending to this immaculate story. This really pushed the agenda of love to Rover, and it was an intimate story, so I can see how people really believe that this is the meta relationship for Rover. This is definitely a push to the Rover meter for sure. Encore story quest, I mean, come on, it's Encore, whom is Rover's goddaughter. This story quest was quite cute and very adorable, and almost brought me to tears in fact. The story was an outing with Rover and Encore, and it did feel like a side quest, and Rover actually became Encore's adoptive mother or protector for the duration of the quest. It was seriously just that. It wasn't amazing, so of course it goes without saying that the Rover meter stays exactly where it was intended. I mean, come on, it's Encore. It was an enjoyable quest, and it just shows how Rover can actually interact with children in the story, or Encore and Verena. She even had a moment with her. Now, we have the lady that plants her seed of fate in your heart, violently. Camellya. Camellya was yet another companion quest that involved a character who knew Rover before they met, except Camellya also erased all of her memories. The funny thing about this story is that Camellya is deranged. Her personality is quite the enigma, mainly due to the fact that I don't know if she's into the pleasure or if she's just into Rover. In case it wasn't obvious, her lust for Rover should earn her 2 spots on the Rover meter, but we will just apply 1 for the sake of consistency. The ecstasy emanating from Camellya was palpable, and she truly displayed her devotion to Rover. It became more chill as it closed out, but that's probably honestly because Camellya reached her climax during this battle here. Without a doubt, Camellya is someone who is very much interested in Rover in either a fanatical obsession or a potential love interest. I don't know for sure. It's impossible for us to fist Camellya, but Rover will surely give it her best shot. Overall, this definitely shows that Camellya is indeed Rover's love interest, just because of how the story actually played out, and showing how they were bonded and connected no matter which outcome they had. This was a very nice touch to the story to show that Camellya had other options and a different personality, but due to reasons in the story quest, she no longer has those memories and became the Camellya that we have today. Carlotta, oh Carlotta, the second daughter and executor of the Montelli family. The chemistry between her and Rover is unlike anything we've seen before. Honestly, it's a major step up in storytelling when we actually compare it to the previous stories and companion quests. The thing is about their interactions, however, is that it's more of a flirtatious trip rather than a romantic one. While I agree that at any point a romance could erupt and sprout from these interactions, it wasn't as strong as Shorekeeper and Camellya, but it was definitely impactful in its own way. I feel she was more in line with Xiangli's part in the story, where they became very close, but duty before romance. A girl's gotta poop before she can love. Wait, I think I messed up that phrase somehow. Despite these revelations, Carlotta is definitely adding to the Rover meter due to the sheer amount of courting depicted in her scenes. It's immaculate, and the bond developed through these quests is really something. Now, we went through every story quest in Wuthering Waves, and it's time for the grand unveiling of the Rover meter across the span of the video. We come in with a whopping 5 out of 11. There are 5 out of 11 chances for Rover to form an intimate relationship with the characters depicted in these character quests. I'd say that's quite alright. If we go by the ReaLazy meter, which I've been secretly storing for, reasons, then we can only really commit Camellya and Shorekeeper to this role because their story quests heavily imply a romance, while the other 3 on the Rover meter were not to be taken too seriously, but the chemistry did exist there. So with that, the designated Rover meter, we can see that the romantic intrigue is actually not that heavy in Wuthering Waves. I mean, I guess it kinda is, being at a little under 50%. But this goes to show that the relationships Rovers creates are not artificial and are actually multi-layered. The fact that Rover is speaking in these stories makes her feel like a character, and not just a blank slate. I would love for them to just rid themselves of these stupid choice options, or better yet, let Rover speak her choices rather than just skipping it altogether. It's as if these choices are a way to make sure that the player is paying attention, and trust me, if I'm meant to look at Carlotta's round, beautiful, succulent, juicy eyes, then you better believe that I'm going to stare into her boobs. Shit, I messed up there. So I think the direction of the companion quests are quite diverse and entertaining. I believe that the issue of Rover having a romantic relationship with every character is quite far-fetched, and even if that were the case, if you don't enjoy seeing Rover with said character, then treat it as a what-if scenario. These companion quests are a way for people to connect with the characters in the companion quest, and of course, who are you to say who Rover can connect with, or in any way? I would actually love for a few of the companion quests to be mainly focused all the way on the companion, but this is Rover's story first and foremost before it is a story about the characters, so it might be a lot harder to do that. Maybe in the future we just get a straight flashback for a character, or just have them go through their own story arc, but Rover will in one way or another be involved with that character. Of course, I'm sure that other people who actually feel connected to Rover will actually feel differently, such as, Camellya and Shorekeeper, but you have to understand that Rover is supposed to be the player, and let's be real. Would you be okay with a crazy psycho yandere not being intimate with Rover? Yeah, didn't think so. Go ahead and like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and remember to check out Raid through the QR link and link in the description. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and until next time, Enigma out.